what do wrapping paper, pens, highlighters, appliances from the kitchen, a knife, and dryer lint all have in common? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hi everyone, Pam here from Creative Homescaping. Today I am going to be showing you how you can use empty cardboard tubes to help you with your home organization solution issues. So if you'd like to hear more about that, then stay tuned, because I'm going to show you how you can do things with all of these items using empty cardboard tubes, either from paper towels, toilet paper, or gift wrap. Any of them will work for what we are going to be doing. So let's get started. So the first thing I like to do before I use the tubes is, if they are toilet paper tubes, I will disinfect them just to be sure. So you can either use something like Lysol, or you can use your own solution of, this is distilled water and rubbing alcohol mixed together, and then you can spritz it and let it dry. Once you've done that, then you can begin. So I like to cover my tubes with contact paper to make them look nicer. And I'll show you a finished one right here. Here's a finished one. So I picked this black and white because I thought it had a pretty design on it and would go with most pieces of decor. So I am going to take a 6x6 piece of contact paper, and this is actually the right size for the toilet paper roll. And I'm going to get it started in undoing the backing from the front, but I'm only going to take about a couple inches off. And then I'm going to align the tube with the grid that's on the backing so that I make sure I get it somewhat straight. And then put it down on the sticky part and start to adhere it. And then as I roll the tube forward, I pull the backing paper. And then I roll it like so. Now, I am going to take some scissors, and as you can see, there's some excess there. I'm going to push that to the inside, but I need to cut some slits in this first. So I usually cut 6 slits. I cut 2 opposite each other, top and bottom, and then I go back and cut 2 more in between each of those halves, so that I end up with 6 slits. So here's one that I cut, and here's another, and I'm going to cut another one right here and right here. And that way it's easier to push the contact paper down inside of the tube. So you have a nice finished edge to your tube. That way you don't have the rough edges of the cardboard sticking out, which could give you a cardboard cut. So I've done one end. You can see that. And now I'm going to go in and do the other end. And just do my little snips. And then do the same thing. Push those down. And you do want to go over this with your fingers a few times just to make sure that it's properly adhering to the cardboard and isn't coming up, because sometimes it can have a tendency to come up off of the cardboard. Now, you already saw that my very favorite thing to do with these tubes once I have them covered, and that is to use them to hold electrical cords. So you can use them for extension cords, you can use them for cords on your appliances, or your curling iron, or your hair dryer. And I really like to do this because this way it's nice and neat, It takes up less room in the cabinet or the drawer or wherever you have it. The cords don't get tangled, and you can just pull it off and your cord is all nice and neat. So you do need to initially, excuse me, hold your cord into, this is probably about a 6 or 7 inch length. You want it a little bit longer than the tube, which is probably about 5 inches. And then you can just slide it on like so. Like this one, which I already have for this appliance. So that's my very favorite thing to do with the tubes once I've covered them. But there are other things that you can do with them as well. You can also get another box. This happens to be a tissue box that I've cut the top off of, and you can stick a number of these tubes inside of the box. So I have 6 of them in here right now. Let me show you. 6 of them. So they're kind of wedged in there. And where they're not any tubes, there are also some little spaces left. But you can use this as a desk accessory. So you can corral your pencils in one tube, and your pens in another, and your highlighters in another, like so. And now you've created a desk organizer for yourself out of items that you otherwise would have thrown away or maybe just put into the recycling bin. So if you don't have money for desk organization tools, this is something you can do. And I'll actually show you a few more desk organization ideas in another video. So you can do that. If you don't want to cover the tube, actually, if you're not going to cover the tube, you don't want to go to the hassle of that, but you do like to have fires either in your fireplace, or if you have a fire pit outside and you need fire starters, you can take an uncovered tube, one of these tubes, and I'll show you this one, even though it's gold. Ignore the gold. This was part of my DIY mailbox that I did in another video. You can take the tube, the plain tube, and you can take some of your leftover dryer lint and keep a tube in your laundry room and just stick your dryer lint in the tube till you fill it up. And then you've created a fire starter. So the cardboard will catch fire and the lint will help it keep burning like tinder for your fire. So that's another idea that you can use the tubes for. Then the wrapping paper. So if you have wrapping paper that you want to store, but it's getting ripped on the ends because it keeps coming unraveled, then another thing you can do is take one of these tubes and then cut it down one side, which I've already done here. And this wasn't the inside of a wrapping paper tube. It's pretty sturdy, and you'll want very sturdy cardboard tubes for this. You don't want a flimsy one. So if yours is flimsy, it won't work as well. But you take that cardboard tube and you find where the leading edge of the wrapping paper is, and you just slide the tube over the top of that so it holds that leading edge in place, like so. And then, as you can see, it's not coming undone. So they do sell these little gadgets that you can get. They're kind of like the old slap bracelets they had in the 80s and 90s that you can wrap around the tubes. But why do that when you can take the inside of an old wrapping paper tube and use it to help you corral your current wrapping paper? You could also do this with paper towel tubes. They're long enough. You probably wouldn't want to do it with a toilet paper tube unless you used a couple of them because they're a little shorter. They're also not as sturdy as this one. You can see this one really is gripping onto the tube of wrapping paper. And then the last thing I wanted to show you that you can do is similarly with a paper towel tube or a wrapping paper tube. If you don't have a knife block or a type of storage drawer in your kitchen where you can sit the knives in, where the blades are protected and they're just kind of lying around loose in the drawer, this is something that you can do to protect the edges of your knives. So again, you want a longer cardboard tube that has been cut in half. You want to then take it and you want to flatten it out somewhat. And then you're going to find your knife that you need to cover. And I'm just showing you a bigger knife here. This is my chef's knife. And you're going to slide the knife into the tube. And then you will make sure it's the right width. So this is a pretty wide knife. So this takes up most of the tube and most of the width of the tube here. If this were a narrower knife, you could then cut the tube down so that it would fit. But you slide that in and then you take some tape and you just wrap the tape around. You could use washi if you wanted it to be decorative, but you need to create a good seal here so you can slide the knife in and out like this. And that will protect the blade of your knife. So that's it. Well, I hope you found these tips useful. I know that when I was first starting out and didn't have a lot of money, I did this sort of thing a lot because I wanted things to look pretty. I had enough money to buy a roll of contact paper, and trust me, the rolls of contact paper last a really, really long time. You can always pick up contact paper at Dollar Tree, and you'd be able to do plenty of toilet paper rolls with that because they're usually about 18 inches long, so you can usually get enough to cover three toilet paper rolls out of one width of the contact paper. So you can do a lot with that $1 of contact paper that you can pick up there. And then you can make yourself matching accessories. You have ways to control your cords. You can cover them and have your knives match your cord control. So you can have a lot of coordinated things in your house. And if you want to use different colors in different rooms, that can be helpful as well. Or different colors for different purposes. Like maybe you want one color for your appliances, maybe you want one color for loose cords, that sort of thing. That way you always know where things go. Or like one color for different computers that you might have. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing by clicking on the subscribe button down below or the icon in the corner of this video. I post several videos a week on how to creatively manage and decorate your home. And this year I am trying to do this series on how to organize your home at a minimal cost. So I hope I'll see all of you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.